Am I the asshole for despising my mentally handicapped sister? The title makes me sound horrible, but hear me out. My sister is severely autistic. She requires attention almost 24/7 and cannot be left alone. She is nonverbal and cannot take care of herself at all. Despite the fact that she is only 12, she is extremely destructive and violent and destroys anything she gets her hands on. I hate her. That should be wrong to say, but it doesn't feel like it. I was only 6 years old when she was born, and since then I've never solely had my parents' attention. Even since I can remember, the world has revolved around her. I was moved out of my room into the basement at 7 because she needed to be in the room next to my parents. All of my toys as a child were destroyed by her, and my parents simply ignored me when I complained. Even when I was 14 and she destroyed a Mac my school gave me, I was in the wrong. Along with this, I am expected to take care of her and drop everything I do for her. I can never make plans with friend because my parents expect me to be there if they need me to take care of her. Even when I do somehow get time to myself, I am required to leave if they need me. If I do not, then I am punished. The recent example of this is when I went to see the new Spider-Man movie, and was grounded because I turned my phone off in the theater. It seems as if I am nothing more than a slave to them, and anything involving her simply overshadows me. This last week I was chosen to give a speech at a school event. I was so excited, and my parents promised to be there, but they never showed and claimed it was because of my sister. Anytime anything like this happens for me, they are too busy with her. I've held this in for so long, and it finally spilled out today. While talking about colleges with my father, he joked that I should get a degree that pays well so when they're gone I can take care of my sister. I don't know why, but this caused me to break down. I cried and screamed about how it's always about her. I'm nothing more than a caretaker to them, that they always make it about her, and that I'm expected to be her slave for the rest of my life. I've locked myself in my room since then, and my parents have not come to check on me. Am I the asshole here? Edit/update kinda. Wow, thank you for all the support and love that you guys have given me. I never expected this post to reach the popularity it did. Thank you all. After thinking about it for these past hours, you are right that I don't despise my sister. It's not her fault that she was born the way she is. My parents came to talk to me a while after my breakdown, but I was unable to bring myself to talk to them and only cried and asked them to leave. They have made arrangements with my grandfather for me to stay with him for the time being, and I'm getting ready to go to his house. My parents want to talk to me, but we have decided it's best I leave for now to have some space and time to collect myself. We will be sitting down and talking later this week about this issue. Thank you all again for the love and support through this less than 3. I'll send an update your guys' way later this week if people are interested. Not the asshole. These are perfectly legitimate and understandable feelings. You have done nothing to sign up for taking care of another human being. It's not like she's your kid, and that was wrong of your dad to joke about, because it sounds like he probably is really thinking along those lines. Be honest with your parents about how you feel. Make clear that it's insane that you're expected to be a full-time babysitter, grounded for no phone in a theater. That's fucking bullshit. I am so worried OP will one day take on this huge responsibility in their later years because they feel they obligated to. Yes, I am quite sure the dad is thinking along those lines. OP, my advice is to get your education and move out of that house ASAP and never allow yourself to be sucked back in. Once you are financially independent, you can make absolutely clear that you are not going to be responsible for your sister's care. Period. You are under no obligation to make your adult life about taking care of your sister. Your parents should be making some plans on how your sister will be taken care of after they are gone independent from you. The sooner you make this clear to them, the less guilty you may feel for not taking on this responsibility. After all, they will have had plenty of time to make arrangements. And I only say financially independent because I'm afraid that if the OP took such a firm stand now, her parents wouldn't help her financially with her Education Act if they are able. If OP's situation is like mine was with a severely mentally ill sibling, the parents will use money as leverage to get OP to do what they want, including caring for the sister into perpetuity. In my opinion, OP really needs to gain independence. My advice, again, go to school as far away as possible and get a job and loans as needed. OP is 6 years older than her 12-year-old sister, so it makes her about 18, or soon to be. He or she could get out of the house very soon, get a job, get roommates, etc. Just get away. The parents are abusing and using them. This. Not the asshole. It sounds like your parents are the ones who have cultivated this resentment within you, over the years. Have you suggested family therapy to them? For just you and the two of them, no sister? I think it could work wonders if each of you could explain your whole story to the rest, with a mediator and without interruption. And then have the time to react accordingly so everyone feels like they have been heard, and furthermore, understood. I'm really worried about this as well. Yeah, blowing up about it sucks, but these things happen and there's no reason for OP to feel bad about it, despite what OP may have built up in his head about it. Growing up, my dad was away a lot, and my brother has severe ADHD, and so my mom was pretty preoccupied with him a lot. That was frustrating as hell, and OP's situation sounds 1,000 times more frustrating, and I feel like it's his right to be annoyed and to vow to strike out on his own. My parents have become caretakers for my autistic cousin whose parents are both deceased. Same level of assistance required as he is non-verbal and cannot do anything for himself. Parents have told me and my sister that he will never be our problem. Even after they are gone, he will be set up with care because it's not fair to put that responsibility on us. Talk to your parents. I agree that it should not be your responsibility. Why your parents are so rational. My parents took on the care of my cousin and asked me if I would take her on if she died, expected me to babysit, called me selfish for trying to talk to them about how rough it was growing up with her. His dad did the joking not joking thing. He says it for real and gets made if you take it as a joke, but if OP calls him out on it, then relax, it was just a joke. My mom does this and it really pisses me off. You're either joking or not, don't be a coward, pick one. Yeah, many a truth is spoken in jest. Honestly, I agree and I understand OP's feelings. I would probably have cracked long before them if I was in the same situation. But it seems like your parents are the assholes, not your sister. They need to stop treating your little sister like a pet, and you like her caretaker. They are grossly mishandling the situation. What a shame. Yup, parents are definitely mishandling this. I get it sucks for them to have a mentally handicapped kid, and I was tempted to call asshole on OP for the first part of my parents never pay attention to me because sure, it can seem that way to a kid who doesn't know the mental drain. It takes a lot of emotional energy to make sure both kids feel equally loved and paid attention to, and parents are human. But expecting OP to be on call 24/7 for his sister? Grounding when he turns off his phone? Assuming OP will take care of the sister? Super shitty. Plus, OP is a kid, too. That childhood is not coming back. I agree you should be able to do the things a teenager should do. That is your sister, not your kid. Not the asshole kid. I hope you go to college far away from home. Later in life, make sure your parents understand that you won't be taking responsibility, so they better have care and funding in place. Go far away, procure job far away, and stay for away. And by later in life he means after you secure your financial independence from them. Getting uppity like that while you're relying on them for food and a roof over your head is a very, very bad idea. It's only when there's nothing they can do to you in retaliation that you should take the necessary steps. Side note, Happy Cake Day. This was my first thought as well. Also, if they stay close, will her parents' expectations of her, regarding her sister, hinder her success in school? Sounds like a reasonable assumption that it would. This is the best advice. I'd go as far as learning another language and moving out of the country. Never look back. I had a domineering mother. I now have an awesome life living on the other side of the world. Not the asshole. I am a sibling of a person with a disability. My brother was not supposed to do much due to his disability. We have been fortunate that in his 30s he is able to care for his own need with support from the local regional group. I am also a SPED teacher. I've worked in mod/severe with plenty of students who are nonverbal with low cognitive ability, doesn't matter the disability. If they cannot communicate needs or take care of themselves independently in some regard, then they need support 24/7. I had the same frustrations as you. I resorted to cutting, withholding food, and made the worst self-mixtape in head about how I deserved to be second best. I felt like a slave like you, and eventually I let it go because I love my brother and it is not his fault that he is that way and that my parents can't hang. My dad left for years at a time, so I was the second parent. I forgave him too. I was trained from the time I was 10 to care for my brother. He's about 8 years younger. Our parents have died in the past 2 years and I am in charge. The key secret I can tell you about how I am a relatively sane and successful adult is, make a plan now. I made a plan about how I wanted my life to look starting in 8th grade and I followed through. I took the SATs, got grants and scholarships, went to school far away and had jobs on and off campus. It was the Clinton era, so they gave money if you have a single family income. Get a loan, research and do it. Follow through and stay on track because you are in charge of you. If you ever want advice or to rant, you can PM me. I also advise counseling. I really hurt myself and took on lots of guilt. You don't need that. Someone should say none of this is your fault. I can be that person because it is the truth. I'm here if needed. Dizzy, glowing star, sparkles. Exactly, it's not OP's decision that they decided to have a second children. Essie's not forced to adopt her once they pass away. While she's unable to take care for herself, OP needs not to sacrifice his own life to care for her. Not the asshole one. If you can, go to college far away. Time away and on your own to be just you will be good for you. 2. Because I think your dad was only half joking, at some time you will want to have a conversation that they need to plan for the care of your sister in the future. And make it clear that it is not you, especially if you feel the same way as you do now. 3. I'm really sorry your parents didn't handle this better, and I hope that one day your anger moves away from your sister. 2. Oh, but they will make sure to heavily guilt trip OP to look after his sister, which I'm afraid he'll come around even he hates her now. Yeah, be aware that this will happen. You telling them that you won't be spending what's left of your life after their passing caring for your adult sister will likely cause a rift. Especially considering their lack of awareness of the situation already. I don't know what state any of this is in, but I believe all of them have Medicaid waivers that will provide care for people with autism, intellectual and developmental disabilities. From the description of OP's sister, she would qualify. Some states do have waiting lists and many different waiver programs. The family could get respite time away together while someone else spent time with her. There are so many service options available to families once they learn about them. Yeah. My mom is currently trying to guilt trip me into taking care of my severely depressed sister, physically able, just a failure to launch situation. It's a massive issue because I'm my mom's estate executor as well, so I know how all of the estate planning is being set up. It irks me that my sisters, who by their own faults and lack of work ethic deserve more, but I've made it very clear to them and mom that I refuse to be their ATM and I'm not bothered by them living on the streets. There's a reason my family calls me the Ice Queen. Ugh, I'm in a similar situation. My mom keeps telling me that when she passes I have to take care of my, now, 37-year-old failure to launch brother. She's made me executor of her will and I'm supposed to be in charge of my brother's trust. She set it up so that he had to ask me whenever he wants money. Hell no. I'm willing to give up a significant portion of my share to a lawyer/executor not to have to listen to my brother scream at me for not agreeing to fund his robotics company/acting career/desire to travel the world or whatever nonsense it is that day for the rest of my life. Look into immediate payout annuities. I own it so clueless sibling can't cash it in though he tried repeatedly, for pennies on the dollar because shady late night ads shamelessly target desperate/financially illiterate people. That's what I did with my mentally challenged brother with his agreement. Guaranteed monthly payments forever, completely out of everyone's hands. And to this day he still demands money from me if I allow contact. That sounds perfect. Is that something I have to do while my mom is alive or can I do it after she passes? Your estate attorney or financial planner can advise you. There may be tax implications to be addressed. My mom passed quickly, diagnosed with cancer in August, gone by Christmas back in 2001, and did not try to set anything up beforehand. Denial is a real thing. Fortunately, my brother was already receiving benefits from dad's naval pension due to bro's disabilities. Parents divorced in the late 80s and dad passed in 96 but was smart enough to designate bro in his paperwork. I learned about annuities when I tried to find ways to prevent my brother's share of mom's small estate from being wasted immediately, which he totally would have. Immediate payouts can be small, depending on the amount invested and when payouts commence, but once you buy that annuity contract, there is no modifying it, so any bitching can be safely ignored. 37 years old? Oh my god, you've just terrified me that this is what's going to happen to my brother. He's 22, which I consider still plenty young for there to be hope. But he has actively said multiple times after age 18 that he has no plans to attend college or a training program, ever, no plans to get a job that will make him sad, no food service, no retail, no labor, and that his plan for making money is to become a game streamer, and even that, he hasn't made any actual attempt at. I'm the only one of my siblings who moved out, and while I'm perfectly willing to help the sibling with legitimate reasons for not having done so, who is also a pleasure to be around and dealing with their own issues in constructive ways, I absolutely refuse to take care of my brother if it comes down to it. Edit for context, my brother has ASD or mild Asperger's syndrome. So he does need leeway with many things, I totally get that, but he's had professional support, therapy plus meds, Since day one, doctors have literally said he is fully capable of caring for himself, going to college, and getting a job. If you were told he has Asperger's, you might think, oh, okay, that explains some things, but you wouldn't be able to pick him out of a crowd of STEM majors. He is also far above the threshold for government assistance / disability / etc. If anyone has been in a similar situation or resolved it, I'm serious, tell me. My parents were not young when they had kids, and it horrifies me to think of them spending what should be their retirement years taking care of him. It's not like I want him to die in a gutter once they're gone, either. I just wish him a swift upward spiral of success somewhere far away from my parents, before their health inevitably declines. Not gonna lie, I wanted to up and leave just reading that. That sort of shit would make me whoops, change cell phone number and find a new job several hundred miles away. Imagine having a child, raising that child, fighting your ass off for any help they legitimately needed to give them a good start in life, only to have that child turn around and say that to your goddamn face. There's also the time he mentioned his backup plan to being a game streamer was writing porn. But not just any porn, no, the next 50 Shades of Grey would have been too acceptable. As I woefully discovered because he left some of it in the godforsaken printer one day by accident, his tastes are in anthropomorphized Pokemon. I'm enough of a fetchine freak that my biggest disappointment here isn't the fact he wants to write furry porn for a living. I'm mostly mad that he hasn't taken advantage of the huge pockets in that fandom and actually made any money at all. Can you tell I have some strong feelings on the matter? Same. I have a sister that isn't mentally challenged but violent, erratic, manic depressive, and struggles to hold on to steady jobs or relationships. I think my parents think of me as my sister's guardian in case she ends up homeless someday, but I didn't sign up to take care of someone like that forever. If she ends up on the streets, I'll help her find a homeless shelter or something though. Lol. It is harsh, but you need to draw a line in the sand. They made their choices. You are allowed to say, no. That guilt is difficult, but learning to say, no, is a great skill to have. It can come at a cost. I was disowned for refusing to allow my mentally ill mother from abusing my kids. It was tough. I lost all my family except my sister, but the kids are safe and thriving. That is what matters. I agree with all of this with the exception of the timing of 2. OP needs to do this when he or she is an adult / away at college. It is very likely that OP's parents will not accept their minor teenager setting a boundary with them. Hell'll be a bone of contention whenever it's done. I wouldn't add that into the mix right now. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but this is a parent problem, not a sister problem. I am a parent of one autistic child and one neurotypical child, and I will tell you that we would never treat our NT child like his role is to caretake his sister. If she ruins his stuff, we replace it. We have also given him some separate space, with a lock, so that we can prevent her getting into his stuff. Now if he leaves it out, that's another story, but we try our best. Are there ways in which having a sister with a disability still might suck for him? Of course. We're a family, and what impacts one tends to impact us all. But we try to mitigate that, and at least sympathize when we can't. We also make sure that he benefits in whatever ways we can. Like the fact that he has never had to wait in a long line at an amusement park because of her skip the line pass. Smile, it sounds like you parents haven't done any of this, and have, in fact, made everything worse for you. That is not your sister's fault. She can't help who she is, and at only 12, she is still learning and growing, and you may still have a great relationship once you are both adults. Your parents, on the other hand, should have done better by you. The brunt of your anger belongs on them. Duh. This right here, op. All the stuff this parent said. We got a great parent over here. I wish you and your family the best. Having to care for an autistic child is hard, and I bet there was some struggle in learning how to care for her and your NT child and give them both the space and attention they need to grow. I find that great parents don't get told that they're doing amazing enough, so there you go. Much love. Agree completely. OP's parents seem to have completely pushed her aside and neglected her needs for her entire childhood. Parents have an obligation to help every one of their kids thrive, to be there for them, to create a safe place for them, to encourage their interests and hobbies, help them develop into people. This is even more critical in a household where one or more child has special needs. OP didn't get any of that. My kids are still quite young, but I cannot even fathom assuming that my other children will take on the lifelong burden of 24-hour care for their sibling, no matter the circumstances, special needs, auto accident, whatever. My only hope is that they can bond and have a nice sibling relationship. My autistic kiddo likely will become an independent adult. But if it looked like he was going to need support, I'd have that arranged very far in advance, and it sure as hell wouldn't be his sibling's sole responsibility to figure it out. Gah. Poor op. Well said. I came here to say this is a parent problem. I grew up with a sibling who had a disability and felt significant other, much like OP described. As an adult with a child, I can see that the issue wasn't my sibling, it was the choices my mom made. OP, therapy is a good way to work through all of this and might help you move forward. Having lived a similar childhood as OP, this is where I now reside. There were times that right along with OP, I hated my sibling. But this wasn't their choice. They didn't ask for whatever issues they are dealing with. But the parents made the choice to make it about that child. All the time. And then forced the siblings to do so as well. OP, eventually time will pass, and your hatred towards your sibling may subside, fully or partially. But the actions of your parents will fester, and you'll begin to see them for what they were as parents. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button for more content. I post every day, and I'll see you next time with more stories.